Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the IndiGrid Infrastructure Trust Q1 FY26 quarterly conference call hosted by Avendus Spark. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star, then zero on your touchtone phone. I now hand the conference over to Bharanidhar Vijay Kumar from Avendus Spark. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Viren. Good evening, everyone. Welcome you all for the 1Q FY26 earnings call of IndiGrid. Representing IndiGrid, we have Mr. Harsha, Managing Director, Ms. Meghana Pandit, Chief Financial Officer, and Mr. Sanil Namboodiripad, Chief Operating Officer. So I would hand over the call to Harsha for opening remarks. Thanks, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for joining the call for this quarter. I will go through the slides of the presentation to give you an update about the business for this quarter, and my colleagues will join for the respective divisions of the conference to share the update, and we'll take the question and answers in the end. Starting from slide 3, our vision is to become the most admired wheel vehicle in Asia, based on focused business model, value-accretive growth, predictable distribution, and optimal cap structure. As you go to slide number 4, our AUM has grown this quarter. We are standing at 32,400 crores of assets. We spread across 22 states and UTs, with 90 distinct revenue-generating elements across lines, substations, solar power plants, and battery energy storage projects. If you move to next slide, just the quarterly update about the quarter, slide number 6. This quarter, we acquired Renew Surja Ion Private Limited, RSAPL, a 300 megawatt solar project, and Koppal Narendra Transmission Line Limited, a 276 circuit kilometer boom ISTS project for a total enterprise value of approximately 2,108 crores. This acquisition was done in quarter 1 of this year, and this is both assets are acquired from Renew. They are the seller. Both these assets will add sizable amount of assets under management as well as EBITDA contribution towards our NDC. In the portfolio update, our sponsored entity, IndiGrid, has won its first battery energy storage projects with a capacity of 187.5 megawatt into 750 megawatt hour. There is a 4-hour storage. This is one of the first such unique storage with 4-hour battery storage solution. The project was bid out by SJVN using a TBCB mechanism. IndiGrid plans to acquire this project after it achieves COD in adherence to the regulatory requirement or agreement with IndiGrid. This then signifies the intention of IndiGrid and IndiGrid to meaningfully contribute to the energy transition journey of the country and grow the AUM in the process. On the financial performance, quarter 126 reported a flat revenue as we had one-off generator-related issue on solar thermal asset, which is now stand resolved and the asset is generating revenue, which led to a temporary dip in the solar segment revenue for this quarter, which is also reflected in the EBITDA generation as we go to the next point. In addition to the one-off generator-related issues on solar, which is now resolved, there is also a one-time investment management fee that was paid on account of the acquisition of the first 2 assets that I spoke about, which has resulted into a reported EBITDA to decline by about 8%. The IMC contribution to this was approximately 12 crores. However, the majority amount for reducing the EBITDA for the quarter was on account of the solar thermal impact. AUM and net debt to AUM at the end of the quarter stood at 32,400 crores of AUM and leverage of approximately 61.2% respectively. The correction for FY26, quarter 1 FY26 was 93% for transmission and 111% for solar. One needs to keep in mind quarter-on-quarter movement on this because the quarter one was high for both, and therefore we are seeing some bit of slowdown in transmission, which we feel will catch up in the subsequent quarters. Our distribution performance remains that we're distributing 4 rupees a unit, which is 6.7% higher than the same period last year, and this is in line with the guidance that we provided. For operational performance, our weighted average quarterly transmission availability remains at 99.04%, and solar CUF at 17.7%, largely on account of one-off breakdown, as I mentioned before. On the industry update, I would say while the peak demand weakened a little bit, however, the overall consumption story continues to be robust. The overall installed capacity was at 485 gigawatt hour. And in this quarter, this is the first time, and I'm sure you've heard from many other calls and news, that India delivered more than 50% of its overall installed capacity in terms of renewable energy source, almost 5 years ahead of schedule, which is envisaged to reach 50% by 2030. This also clearly outlines that India's renewable energy vision is a reality and it's going to continue to grow. This is something which also augments the growth of our sector, which is in transmission and BESS. And we are seeing that NEP in transmission release outlines over 9 lakh crores of investment opportunities by 2032. And the same corresponding in transmission and battery storage, almost 35 gigawatt of battery storage will be envisaged. To support the battery storage, Ministry of Power has also approved a VGF scheme for 30 gigawatt hour, which will ensure that there is at least 33,000 crore of investment that goes into battery storage. We plan to play a meaningful role in all these two segments. Go to the next slide, which is slide number 8, is to give an idea of the total size of the overall market. So we are seeing almost 140,000 crores of bids across transmission and BESS sector. Significant value of this is also on account of HVDC, almost a little bit less than half. In general, there is a significant amount of investment we see in both these sectors that we operate in. Now, I would like to introduce Sanil Namboodiripad, whom we announced, who have joined us in this quarter as a Chief Operating Officer. And I would invite Sanil to introduce himself, and a warm welcome to Sanil to join IndiGrid, and it would be great if Sanil takes you through the portfolio performance for the quarter. Sanil, over to you.
Then worked with private sectors like Reliance, Light, and later on with ONGC Tripura Power. And recently joined, that is in the end of May, I joined here. I'm on slide number 9 now regarding the operational performance of IndiGrid assets. HSE update, we had 0 incidents, whether it is medical treatment case or first aid case or the lost time incidents. We are committed to 0 harm. And with respect to the performance, like Harsh said, we had a slight dip in our performance due to a couple of outages. The power transmission weighted average availability based on revenues was 99.04. This was mainly due to 4 assets, which basically was due to outage of a transformer as well as a reactor, and weather-related some incidents which have transmitted line. Again, affected by the outage of the generator, Godavari Green Power Project in Rajasthan, and also a little bit on reaction on solar resilience, and achieved a solar CUF of 17.7%. With regards to reliability, we had weather-related incidents this quarter.
Sanil sir, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're sounding a little muffled, sir. There's some disturbance at your place.
Yeah. Is it okay now? I'm moving to another location. Yeah.
Yeah, it is better.
With respect to reliability, we had trips per line of 0.41 compared to 0.35 last year. This was again due to early onset of monsoon and bad weather-related incidents. Substation trips per element is within control. Our assets are better performing as compared to the industry. And solar average availability excluding our RSAPL, which was acquired by the end of June, is 94.1%. And the availability impact, like I said earlier, was due to the generator outage event. And this event is primarily recoverable under our insurance coverage. That's all from my side. Over to you, Meghna.
Sure. Thanks, Anil. Moving on to the highlights on the financial performance for Q1 FY26. I'm on slide number 10. Starting with the reported revenue, which we recorded at 839.8 crores, which is about 0.6% increase over Q1 of FY25. The EBITDA recorded was about 704 odd crores, which is almost an 8% dip compared to Q1 of last year, largely due to the factors already mentioned on the call in terms of the generator event at one of the solar plants. The NDCF generated during the quarter was recorded at around 286 crores, again around similar dip compared to the same quarter last year. The DPU for the quarter is at 4 rupees per quarter per unit, which is about a 6.7% increase over Q1 of FY25, which was at 3.75. This is exactly in line with the guidance of 16 rupees for the year that we have mentioned. The right-hand side graphs talk about the trend over the last 3 years for Q1, both on the revenue and EBITDA front. Coming to the collections and the receivable days, on the transmission asset side, the collections are at about 93%. On a YOY basis, this is in line with 94% which we recorded last year. Typically, the first quarter of the fiscal sees a dip and it catches up over the remaining quarters in the year. Receivable days have seen improvement at about 41 days compared to 51 over last quarter of last year. On the solar side, the collections have been pretty healthy at 111% compared to 104% on Q1 FY25. And the collection days again were pretty healthy at 47 days compared to 45 days in Q1 of FY25. Moving ahead on the distribution update, as I said, 4 rupees is the distribution for Q1 FY26. It is divided amongst 4 components. Interest of about 1.6 rupees, dividend of 0.17, capital repayment of about 2.14 rupees, and other income of about almost 0.1. The outstanding units as on 30th of June are at about 83.45 crores, which translates into the gross distribution of about 334 crores. And record date for the distribution is July 29th, and tentative distribution date is will be on or before August 5th, 2025. The NAV per unit has seen an improvement between Q1 FY25 from around 144 rupees to about 148 rupees. And with this, the total distributions per unit are at about 105 rupees, translating into almost 6,541 crores since the time we got listed. The graph on the right-hand side talks about the annual distribution trend, and we have been consistently providing a CAGR of 6% on the distribution per unit. Moving ahead on slide number 12, it talks about the EBITDA to net distributable cash flow waterfall, starting from the EBITDA generated at all the SPVs, which was recorded at 722 odd crores, and all the other adjustments in terms of the finance cost, finance income, the working capital movements, and the capex during the quarter, translating into the NDCF at SPV of about 677 crores. And considering the expenses and the interest cost at IndiGrid and all the other adjustment in terms of working capital, tax, etc., the net distributable cash flow generated for the quarter at IndiGrid at InvIT level is about 286.2 crores. At 4 rupees, the distribution for the quarter is about 333.8 crores, which means that we are dipping into the reserves to the extent of about 47.6 crores. With that, the reserve at the end of the quarter is at about 550 crores, which translates into more than 1.5 quarters of distribution. Moving ahead on slide number 13, this gives a snapshot of the balance sheet. As always, we continue to remain AAA rated by all the 3 rating agencies. Our average cost of debt is about 7.59% as on 30th of June, with almost 84% of borrowings at fixed rate. And the net debt to AUM recorded was about 61 odd percent, leaving significant headroom for future acquisitions and growth, with a very healthy interest coverage ratio of 1.85. The cash balance recorded at the end of the quarter was about 25.88 billion, of which almost 334 crores is for distribution. Almost about 350 odd crores is tied up in DSRA. About 700 odd crores was raised in June and was utilized immediately in the first week of July for refinancing of debt which was coming up. So to that extent, that is also recorded in the cash balance. On the gross borrowing side, which stands at about 22,200 odd crores, broad mix between NCDs and bank loans is about 63% and 37%, and which is fairly diversified across all kinds of lenders from mutual funds, banks, domestic, bit of ECB, insurance companies, retail, HNI having subscribed to the NCDs. The graph at the bottom of the chart talks about the refinancing schedule, and as you can see, it is fairly spread over all the years to ensure that we do not cross more than 10 to 12% of gross borrowing coming up for refinancing in any particular year. Moving ahead on slide number 14, we talk about the total returns to the investors on a risk-adjusted basis, which is depicted by beta, and that we compare against pure play debt instruments with 10-year G-Sec bond and 30-year G-Sec bond, and also with pure play equity indices with NSE 500, NSE Infra, and the others. And as you can see, that on a risk-adjusted basis, IndiGrid has delivered annualized return of about 12% or total returns of 157% since the time we got listed, with a beta of 0.08. So we've been consistently outperforming all these indices on debt and equity on a risk-adjusted basis. Going forward in terms of the business outlook over the coming quarters, I think our focus continues to be on growing the portfolio and also maintaining stable operations for a predictable distribution. On the greenfield projects which are under consideration, focus on executing these projects on time and at the same time proactively participating in other greenfield opportunities through IndiGrid. Similarly, ensure that we deliver on the DPU guidance of 16 rupees for this particular fiscal. On the balance sheet strength, again, try to optimize the interest cost and the tenor profile for the upcoming acquisitions, and also ensure that we continue to maintain sufficient headroom to enable the organic and inorganic growth. I think asset management continues to be a focus area to ensure that on the transmission side, we continue to sustain and provide availability of 99.5% at least. At the same time, ensure that the CUF levels on the solar portfolio are also consistent. We have been strengthening self-reliant O&M capabilities by looking at digital and predictive analytics. For example, DigiGrid was one of the initiatives that we took. FY26, we are trying to implement AI-powered image analyzer to ensure how we are able to strengthen asset monitoring practices. And at the same time, ensure we uphold world-class EHS and ESG practices. Industry stewardship again remains an area for us to focus on in terms of policy making and policy shaping across the electricity sector as well as across InvITs and REITs going forward, and ensuring that these platforms get established as stable platforms for infrastructure returns. Moving on to slide number 16, this talks about our DPU profile since the time we got listed and how accretive acquisitions over every year has enabled us to provide increase in the DPU as well as increase or elongate the longevity of the DPU. The different color bars essentially talks about different acquisitions which we have done over the years and which has allowed us to increase the DPU in line with the guidance provided so far. So with that, I will just take a pause and we can start with the Q&A session, please.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. We have our first question from the line of Dheeraj Kriplani from Avendus Spark. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Thanks for the opportunity. So I just have one question. What is the capex requirement for the 1 megawatt of PSS capacity? Hello?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? What is the capex required for?
For 1 megawatt hour of PSS capacity?
There's no straightforward answer to it, I'm sorry, because every BESS project is different. When you design it for 2-hour storage, 4-hour storage with 66 kV evacuation or 220 kV evacuation, 1 cycle or 2 cycles. So there are so many variables that it's impossible for me to give you a magic number. And honestly, depending on the location also, these costs change. If you are in a colder region, it's lesser. In a hotter region, it's more. So there is no generic number that unfortunately I can share with you.
Okay. And sir, the next question, any new assets in the pipeline to acquire which the company is looking at?
No, I mean, we have just completed the acquisition of the renewable and transmission assets. We are looking at a few more, but that will be, when we reach signing stage, you will know as we'll announce it when we are actually signing it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. The next question is from the line of Deep Vakil from Bandhan AMC. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so thank you for the opportunity. Congratulations on a steady quarter and a consistent DPU. So, are we expecting 4 to 5% growth in DPU on a YOY basis as told in the prior earnings call? Considering without any asset acquisition?
No, if we don't acquire assets, how do we grow, right? So we will acquire assets or we'll build assets under IndiGrid to grow. We already acquired 2,000 crores of asset in this financial year. So that's evident. We already won another 800 crore asset in IndiGrid, so that will come to us. So we are seeing a sizable pipeline in the sector and are very comfortable that we will end up acquiring. We don't need to acquire any quarter-on-quarter basis, right? We look at the right value which is available and go and acquire the project. So, we have got now 7-year track record where every year we have increased DPU. I cannot say that we will continue to do that for next 5 years, but definitely we are working towards that. Right? So I can't guarantee, but our attempt is to ensure that we increase DPU every year, and we have been doing that for 7 years.
Thank you, sir. And only one follow-up on this. I think in the prior call we have mentioned that the 16 is sustainable without any asset acquisition. So just in case if you were not to acquire, we will definitely acquire year-on-year. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if you see a chart which is provided in the investor presentation, at least till 2031, 32, we do not see any. If at all we don't acquire anything for next 5-6 years also, the DPU will continue.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dheeraj Kriplani from Avendus Spark. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Thanks for the follow-up. So my question is, are you facing any challenges in under construction transmission projects like ROW issues or any other thing?
See, we are not taking direct exposure to under construction projects right now. And most BESS projects there is limited ROW, so we don't face that. In transport projects, the ROW is the heart and soul of it. We do face it via EnerGrid, because EnerGrid owns the transmission projects and we only invest 1/3. But they do face ROW challenges, but the government regulations have moved very much in, I would say, positive framework, because the new regulations have increased the compensations, which ensures that, the farmers whom we are going by get fairly, or I would say, sizably compensated for that. And if at all we have paid more than the threshold return, we get that as a recovery in change in law. So there is a sizable amount of comfort that we are developing in right of way. Having said so, it still remains challenging. We still need to fight for it. So it's a process.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you. A reminder to all the participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Arun Kharbanda from ABDS Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi. What I wanted to understand was, you have, a lower revenue because of the two factors, the fees and the solar issue. What is the total value of the two combined, which will possibly not be there in next quarter?
Yeah. Okay. So I think the fee is no impact on the revenue. Fee impact is on the EBITDA, not on revenue. I think the fee will be in the range of 50 bits of the acquisition value, which is 2,108 crores, or give or take 2,200 crores. So approximately 11 to 13 crores, including GST, something of that sort. So that's the impact on GST, which is on the fee, which is about 12 to 13 crores.
Okay.
And the solar revenue generation, I think, Meghna, if you can add, but my guess is approximately 30 odd crores because of that.
Yeah, that's correct. It's in that range.
Yeah.
31 odd crores is.
Yeah.
So it's broadly the similar kind of amount that you dipped into from the reserves.
Yeah, about 46 crores is what we have dipped into the reserves, correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Hansal from Lalkar Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, team. Just follow up to the previous question. So this loss of EBITDA that has come from the solar asset, obviously we're covered by insurance for the same, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we are covered by insurance, but we are not accounting as an insurance receivable. We have lodged the claim and we'll look forward to receiving, but it's a sizable claim, so it takes time. So we don't account for as a receivable, but we work to get it and we account it on the cash basis as and when we receive it.
Excellent. Okay. And congratulations on your first order on EnerGrid.
Thank you.
That's it from my side.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, a reminder to all the participants that you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Manish Goyal from Thinkwise Wealth Managers LLP. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I have two questions. One on our ability to acquire more assets, like on the basis of the debt equity what we have today, and I believe our leverage is 0.61 if I remember, and we have 22,000 crores of debt. So how much more we can acquire assets without diluting equity?
We can acquire approximately, if I took theoretical limit, approximately 6,500 crores of assets to reach to closer to 70% and not raise equity. However, we think that whenever we come closer to 65% or nearby, we feel it's better to raise equity in time instead of really tying it up to fine. But to answer your question straightforward, we still can acquire theoretically 6,500 crores of assets.
And how much, I'm sorry I missed that, and how much we have already acquired in the current financial year?
We have acquired 2,000 crores, but the 6,500 crores is prospective after 2,000 crores.
Okay.
It does not include 2,000 crore acquisition.
Sure. Okay. And the second question on the recently, we probably read in newspapers that government has allowed pension funds in terms of probably they are allowed to invest more in IndiGrid. So how are you seeing any interest from such pension funds or long-term funds to invest and participate?
I'm not honestly very sure about the recent change, but there is already a lot of participation from pension funds, insurance companies, global sovereign wealth funds in IndiGrid and in other InvITs. So we're confident that's there. I'm not sure if there is any recent increase that we have seen of participation, but there are already a lot of participation that's happening from pension funds, especially private pension funds. We've been buying for the last 3-4 years. Once it was approved, they are very, very active.
Yeah. What I read probably earlier, the limit was some 2.5%, which has been raised to 5% to invest in REIT and InvIT. That is why probably.
Yeah, I don't know exact limits that people have reached,
Okay.
but there are limited people who have reached 2.53% to actually cross.
Sure. And also related question was from the side of the SEBI also to probably have a proper categorization of the InvIT and REITs for mutual funds to invest. So I think probably such initiative should also help create more visibility.
So there is already a consultation paper. I'm not sure if the timing is finished. SEBI has done a public consultation paper. We industry bodies, and I'm sure many of the investors have written to SEBI about it. They will take a measured, considered view as and when they reach a conclusion on that. But the consultation paper was out just about a month back, so we are hopeful of the outcome, which will make it clarificatory.
Sure. And one basic question, sorry for asking this, but like when we pay out as a capital redemption or capital repayment, so technically what it implies as unit holders, the face value or maybe the reserves, how does it get accounted? Maybe Meghna can help us.
My advice is to hire a chartered accountant and ask that question, because it is complex. Tax looks at it differently. We can guide you in a high level.
So at a trust level, how does it happen? Like, because when you pay out,
trust does not have a face value. Trust is a pass-through entity. So if trust has invested 100 rupees down as a loan, if it receives 100 rupees back, it repays to its unit holders 100 rupees because it had raised units and invested in subsidiary as a loan. So if it receives 100 rupees back, it will give you 100 rupees as a capital repayment. But trust does not have a face value like equity. So trust accounting has no changes whatsoever on account of this. However, the unit holder of the trust, like yourself, would need to deduct the amount that the trust have returned from your cost of acquisition. Right? So if you bought that unit for 100 rupees, you adjust it. So largely for tax perspective, there is a lot of clarification issued 2 years ago by CBDT. And that's why I'm referring to a CA, because practically trust books do not change, right? Because there is no face value.
No, I am aware about my end. I was just trying to understand that if during IPO you have raised X amount and if that money was used to lend to the SPVs, and when SPVs are returning it, so I was just trying to understand on the books, how would it, as a long-term shareholder or unit holder, how would it change?
We lent the money down, the money came back, we give it back to unit holders as a capital repayment. What we raised at the time of IPO was also not a face value. 100 rupees was just the issue price. It's not a face value. So here is where it differs slightly from equity.
Okay. And sorry, I missed, like, what was the issue with the solar thermal power plant, power generation, which probably led to lower revenue?
We had a turbine, and the turbine shaft was broken, and that had to be restored from some special materials bringing from Germany. It was a Siemens turbine, so that's what took some time. And in the solar thermal, if your turbine is broken, just like a thermal power plant, you get a complete revenue loss. Right? That's all.
Sure. Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to all the participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. As there are no further questions from the participants, I now hand the conference over to management for closing comments.
There are 2 more questions.
Okay, yeah, we can see now.
Yeah.
The next question is from the line of Deep Vakil from Bandhan AMC. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity again, sir. Only one thing, I think our average cost of debt has reduced to 7.59% from 7.67% in last quarter. So, are we expecting further reduction in the cost of funds?
That depends on how the refinancing takes place. Yes, broadly, the marginal cost of funding has come down lower than our average cost of funding. So we do see, as we refinance more projects or acquire more projects, we do see reduction in overall cost of debt. I can't give specific numbers, but we have given a maturity profile, right? So next 2-3 years, if you see, we have around, give or take, 6,000 to 7,000 crores coming for refinancing. And considering where the markets are in terms of debt side, if markets remain there or improve further, we do see at least on 6,000-7,000 crores of facilities, some bit of interest rate gain coming. Now, timing of it, all that depends when we refinance, but we do see that gain coming in eventually.
Okay. And so this RBI's rate cut impact, that has majorly happened in our book, or some part of that is yet to happen, because I think we have 63% through NCDs and 37% are through banks. So, any sense on that?
No, see, RBI rate cut and the actual lending markets are not in sync, right? So there is one is instrument difference, and different loans and bonds are negotiated at different terms. So transmission typically happens when we actually refinance those facilities. And that's why I said it depends on when we refinance these agreements. We will have, because a majority of facilities are fixed, so we don't get direct transmission. There are some facilities which are floating where we get, but majority of the facilities are fixed. So we'll have transmission coming in a few years.
Okay. Thank you, sir. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sarvesh Gupta from Maximal Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Just a few clarifications. So this EBITDA drop of around 60 odd crores. So I think 30 crores was attributable to turbine and 10 crores to the investment manager one-time acquisition related bonus. So that is 40 crores, but we had a 60 odd crores drop. So what is the remaining 20 crores?
There are different changes on 3,000 crore revenue, as you would appreciate. There can be even 0.5% change in irradiation, smaller breakdowns. All those factors come into play.
Okay. Understood. And this insurance claim, how much is the claim amount? And I could not follow because I joined in late. So has the insurance company rejected our claim and we intend to follow up or file a case against them, or what is the status?
No. We have just filed the claim.
Oh, you have just filed the claim. What is the claim amount?
I don't think we can disclose that because that's not in the numbers, but it is including full revenue loss. plus restoration cost.
Okay, understood. And one more doubt that I had, I don't have the presentation in front of me, but I saw that we had similar sort of a lower collection efficiency but similar receivable days or lower receivable days. So I could not understand what was the reason behind that.
Sorry, I did not understand the question.
So YOY, when I looked at the presentation, we had, I think, lower DSOs, but similar collection efficiency, something like that. So
okay. I think okay, got it. Yeah. I think the collection percentages, if you look at it, and typically in quarter one it is lower. Even last year quarter one was 94%. This year it is 93%. So usually there is seasonality. In quarter one is lower, quarter four is highest. That's the typical trend that we have seen. Number of days is a balance sheet number. So depending on number of assets that are added, it can go up or down. So they are not completely correlated. They are informing different things at different point in time. Your DSO days can be lower and collection percentage can be same because our quarter four collection was very high.
Understood. On the IndiGrid platform, so how much have we invested till date? And given that BESS is a huge opportunity and they would be, in my understanding, developing newer assets. So, how much more are we going to invest and what is the sort of the thought process around it? Because this money would not be giving us immediate sort of returns, right?
Yeah.
So this is under construction. So is there a thought process to cap us at a certain level, given that this is under construction?
Yeah.
Or what is the thought process around that?
I think the thought process today is to invest around 850 crores total. We would have invested less than 100 crores, probably in that range or approximately in that range till now. Yes, it does not yield us immediate revenue, but it gives growth for future years, right, in 3 years' time. So we balance out that whatever we invest does not impact our current DPU, right? So that's the first priority. So that's a formula that gets run, that if we are investing, let's say 850 crores, there is a cost of investment of 850 crores in, let's say, 60 crores a year. Even after servicing that, we should be able to comfortably meet our DPU guidance. So that's something which we run internally. And that also puts a natural cap. I can't tell you exact number, how much can we invest, because it's a cycle. By the time we invest 50% of 850, maybe we acquired other assets, right? So the size has changed. So I'm explaining the principle of how much can we invest. As per regulations, we can invest a sizable amount of money in under construction, but it's a cycle. I mean, we are today committed 850 crores, and other investors have committed similar number. So by the time we actually win new projects, the old projects get commissioned. So I don't see a reason why we need to significantly increase this, unless obviously there are far more number of projects we end up winning.
Okay. And finally, are we planning to do fundraising in terms of issuing more units? Because we are nearing, like, we already are at 61%, if I'm not wrong. So what are the thoughts around that?
I cannot comment on capital raise, honestly. As and when we actually decide, we'll come back with the news. But capital raise is a board's decision. It's a very price-sensitive decision. So as and when it is made, anyways, we'll give intimation to market that the board meeting is meeting for that. So before that, everything is speculation.
Thank you. Thank you, Harsh, and congratulations on a good performance and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Harshita from Indra Singh & Sons Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Hello.
Yes, Harshita, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. Congratulations on your good result. I would like to ask some questions regarding that. Are you planning for equity dilution for the upcoming financial year? Is there any plan for an equity dilution?
As I just answered, we cannot comment on further capital raises. It's a board's decision, and as and when it gets decided, there will be sufficient notice provided to shareholders. At this point in time, we cannot comment on the subsequent capital raises.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhishek Jain, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, management, for the wonderful, performance. So I'm a very new investor in IndiGrid. So first and foremost, a very generic comment. Why can't we have, Zoom or Google Meet or something to have a better experience in terms of voice clarity? It would be good if you can, get that into account. Second is, so given that you are like 8 to 9 years since your IPO or listing, but there has been a very low interest by the investors, in terms of buying the IndiGrid. So what is the reason? Despite you being low beta, so whether it should be looked at as an equity instrument or a debt instrument, how it should be looked at? And second question is, with current, we have got low interest rates, so how it would, impact your overall performance down the line?
Cool. Thanks. Actually, 3 questions. I'll start from the last one first. I think I answered earlier. The low interest rate environment would help IndiGrid. As we go forward, we do think that as we refinance our loan, our marginal cost of debt is cheaper than our current cost of capital. So we would have more saving on interest cost, and as per it's an InvIT, so we'll pass it to unit holders. So that is one clear advantage that I see. Second is we might become more attractive as an investment avenue versus others, because we are I would say offering a healthy yield. The second question on, I think, why there is less interest, I think it's relative. The way I look at it, there is significant interest or improvement in liquidity, number of investors that has taken place. In last 8 years since when we listed till now, there are a lot of regulatory changes that has taken place. So taking entire 8-year track record may not be appropriate. Like, for example, the single unit trading started just about a couple of years or 3 years ago. A lot of investors were not able to allow to invest, including pension funds, till a few years ago. So gradually, the regulators have got comfortable and they've opened up for other people to invest. Having said so, today, again, my numbers may be off. I'll check with Meghna, but we have over 30,000 investors that are investing with IndiGrid. Yes, that number is less in comparison to, let's say, a 12,000 crore market cap, small cap, right? A number of over 40,000 investors. Maybe in some small cap, that number could have been 1 lakh, could be. But we are not in a competition of how many unit holders participate. I can tell you IndiGrid has remained a stable, yield generating and still growing entity. And we would want unit holders who are looking at patient capital, predictable DPU and growth. And I think moving from 3,000 investors, which I recollect at the time of IPO, to now 40,000 investors is a significant jump. And I'm honestly very happy about it. I'm looking at the positive side of it. Yes, if number is 4 lakh, very happy. But one needs to keep things in perspective that this was a new investment avenue that was launched in 2017-18. It was very new at that time. To now, unfortunately, I've been associated with InvIT and IndiGrid for entire journey. It's been a phenomenal growth that we have seen of participation of unit holders of various kinds, foreign, domestic, retail, pension, insurance, mutual fund, all. So honestly, I'm looking at it as a glass half full. Yes, it is not full completely, but there's always a journey. So I'm pretty happy with the way it's panned out. To your first question, can we do a Google Meet or Zoom?
Sorry,
I think,
sorry, a second. On this question itself,
Yeah,
I mean, sorry to interrupt you first. So, because correct me if I am wrong, so I don't have the liquidity data. I want to invest more, but I'm seeing, I mean, some, right now the NAV is like 150, 157, and there is a liquidity of some 40,000 units that takes it across to 60 lakh, 70 lakhs INR per day. I mean, so this is kind of hindering me to invest more, given that in my personal capacity also I can invest more than what is the daily traded volume in terms of INR. So if you can answer that question, that would really help.
Yeah. I would suggest to check volumes on NSE and BSE both for last 1 year. Our average trading volume is 7 to 8 crores a day. It's not 40,000. So I think you will need to do that math. You're looking at wrong portal. There's sizable number. I'm not saying again that 7 crore is sufficient. I would love to have 70 crores, great, but it's not 40,000. So I think technically you'll have to correct it. Just today's volume, if I look at it, is 13 lakh. Or 1.3 lakh, 13 lakh actually, today's volume. So I think there is huge improvement in volumes over the last 5 years. So I think and we have seen volumes of 50, 100 crores getting traded in a day if somebody wants to actually buy and sell. But obviously then the impact on price comes into place, right? So, and IndiGrid has been we being a stable asset, we think that most of our investors are long-term and therefore have less contrarian views. And that also adds to overall less volumes, right? Because you need to have both sides on the table, right? So, but I would say with 7-8 crores of volumes on an average, we are doing reasonably okay as an investor. I think if you want to invest 10 times more that you mentioned, you can do. It's not 40,000, right? You'll be able to buy.
Great. Thank you.
And your first question, we take the note. I mean, we will see what we can do around that, whether it's Zoom or Google Meet. Yeah, certainly we can do a video call and make it more engaging. We will take that as input. We'll just work around and see if it is possible. Thank you.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sunil, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi. Good afternoon. So congratulations on the steady quarter. Well, after listening to some of the earlier questions, I now feel like I did the best thing by buying all available units during 2018-19, because at that time the liquidity was, I think it was favorable to buyers, as pretty much everybody was selling. So I thank God for my senses that time. Having said that, my question is on your EnerGrid. Like how much bids can EnerGrid win? Like at any given point of time? Like what is the maximum, contract that it can take?
Sorry. And on today's capital commitment basis, we can do approximately 12,000 crores at any one point in time.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. And my second question is about, given that I think both the gestation period for all your, businesses, whether it's solar or transmission or BESS, all have different ones. You obviously haven't taken any greenfield solar, but you do like transmission and BESS. And I believe transmission, like, could you please just give a rough idea of what is the start to finish for a standard transmission and a start to finish for BESS? Because BESS is much shorter, and so I think your capital commitment would be.
Yeah, I think to answer your question, yes, battery storage typically comes with 12 to 18 months timeline. 18 is standard. And transmission projects comes with around 24 to 30 months standard timeline.
Okay. Yeah, that's all for now. And congratulations. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. As there are no further questions from the participants, I now hand the conference over to management for closing comments.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining the call today. I think we're doing our best to ensure that we keep the vision of stable, predictable returns. We do see the outlook for this sector and for this business improving massively because of the amount of investment that's happening in the sector. And we do see a lot of opportunities coming up. Plus, cost of capital favoring us at this point in time. We do see good times ahead for IndiGrid unit holders, and I'm hoping for all of your support and continued support for us to keep growing. Thank you.
On behalf of Avendus Spark, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.